Jay, there's a Supreme Court case right now before them, which against the National Association for Gun Rights and the City of Napierville, where it would legalize in all 50 states the high assault weapons and high capacity magazines. In this country alone, we've had more than 150 mass shootings. So what do you think about this law? How do you think it's going to impact our everyday life?
The correction is we had 200 in less than 200 days. So, which that sucks. And I think it's going to be horrible. I think that, again, me not being against somebody owning a gun, but us people that's not going to war, having wartime arsenals in our house is ridiculous. So, this lets you know that this country is thinking about something different than, just having people feel free and live and create their pursuit, the happiness. No, it's a whole lot different than that. And so, it's scary, it's dangerous, and I don't know, man. People got to really start thinking about other options at this point, because it's a decision, it's a choice. What type of world do you want to live in? And I think that we, a lot of people, we think that that's out of our hands, that decision is out of our hands, when it really isn't. We control a lot of the decisions that's being made within our circumference. We might can't control the rest of the world, but we do have a choice of what we want to deal with or not deal with. Every decision gives things and takes things away. And I think that America has put us in a space where we feel like what we will be giving up to explore other options will be greater than what we will be gaining. And I don't know if that's actually true. I think people need to explore and see what's the best option for them and their family and make the decision, because this is where this country is going. Every year since 1999, when we had I don't know if it was the first, but the first publicized, really out there mass shooting, which was at Columbine in Denver or in Colorado. And now every year they've gone up to the point where at this point it's getting really ridiculous. 200 in less than in 5 months. That's crazy, man. It's what can you say? So we just really have to think about what are we doing, as a country, and how do we want to live, because some of that stuff we don't control. Everybody's not in politics. Even sometimes they are in politics, it's still not controlling that space. A lot of people, a lot of money behind those types of things, money that regular people will probably never see in their lifetime. But that doesn't mean you can't control what you are, dealing with and what your family has to go through, and I believe that it is other options, probably even better options, but we have to be okay with making a decision and a choice for our life and for the kind of life that we want, not just taking whatever is given to us. This is going to be something dangerous. It's already dangerous. Doing this is going to be something even more dangerous. And I know you're going to have the enthusiasts saying, oh, well, this and it. Regardless of what, as I said in previous videos, the truth is non-existent. The truth of the matter is, it don't matter if it's millions of people that got guns and not killing people. You shouldn't want to live in a country, want to be in a space where it seems like it's okay that it's been 200 mass shootings, which is basically 40 a month, which is only 30 days in most months, 31 in the other ones. But 40 shootings a month, that's more than one a day. That's scary, man. That's terrifying, to say the least. And if that's how you want to live and you think that that's civilized, then that's something wrong. I don't care if you didn't do it, the people you didn't know didn't do it. That is wrong on so many different levels. And if people can't get with that, then it's going to be very, very difficult to make people think logical about anything.
So let me ask you this. A lot of times when we see conversations brought up about laws and things that may be pending in Congress or with the Supreme Court, there's always the topic of voting being brought up. So do we need to start changing our minds about voting? Because a lot of people don't vote because they don't think that their vote really matters. But when we see something like this happening, should we change our minds about voting and begin to get more involved?
Yeah, I think that voting helps. I don't think the national voting situation helps, but in your area, voting helps tremendously. And yeah, we do need to get involved locally in what's going on, especially if you got like school age kids and things of that nature, because those things directly affect them. Your school boards, your mayor, the city councilman, stuff like that. You got to be involved in that stuff, and you got to get to know those people, go out there, go to these functions, make your voice heard, and then go into the ballot. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Nationally, that system is still so antiquated, man. And everybody, that's when everybody comes out though. Everybody put the BT voter die or rock the votes and all that other stuff comes out for the presidential elections. Where you can have somebody get the most votes, but then still lose because of electoral college. You know what I mean? Like, that's just ridiculous. And then people don't really understand with those major scenarios, they don't see how it affects their lives. And it really doesn't, because ignorance is bliss. If you're not a person who's on the stock market, you don't pay attention to how the stock market affects your life, or something that happens like the debt ceiling or whatever. That stuff affects your life, and you got to get educated on that. But I'll tell people, as far as voting, start locally, start with your school board, start with your city council, start with your mayor, aldermen. If you have one of those cities, have an alderman. Focus on that, because you can touch those people. You can actually be at a restaurant and see your mayor, see a city council person. You're called a constituent. They have to, adhere to you. And the biggest thing too that we missed out on, I just learned this out. You got to also invest. You got to give some money up. You know what I'm saying? You have to contribute to these campaigns if you want your thing to be heard. And it's not like buying no vote or nothing like that. No, I'm just saying, like, contribute $50, $100, do something. You know what I'm saying? The money you make is supposed to go back into the community in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So if you're contributing to that councilman, him or her who you believe that's going to help out and make a difference in your community, in your area, give some money. You know what I'm saying, to them. Give a contribution. Volunteer. Sometimes that goes a lot further than your $100. You can probably did 25 hours of volunteering. Well, that goes more than $100 if somebody's paying you hourly. So do that if you don't want to give up no money. Volunteer so you can be right there in the mix. But definitely get involved, but locally. Don't worry too much about the other part until you get your feet wet and understand how that process works.